to the astro forecast for the week of December 13th to the 19th. And this is a big week. I know I can't keep saying that, right? This is truly a big week. Not only do we have two planets changing signs, we have a full moon and we have a planet going retrograde. And these are all going to kind of really tell us the tale of the end of this year. And you're like, I just want a peaceful Christmas. And it's all about how you use the energy, right? That's why I do these forecasts, because there's nothing bad about any of this. Astrology isn't good or bad. It's actually just is, right? It's like the weather, right? If you like the rain and it's like, oh, rain's in the forecast, yay, rain, right? It's like, if you like trauma, no, I'm just kidding, not if you like trauma, but it is about how are we using this energy to move forward, right? Because if you can't get to this step, you're not going to be able to get to the next step, the next step. And that's what life is, right? That is exactly what life is. So can we just take stock of what is happening and understand our place in all of this and how is this working in your life, right? And use it for your highest and best, because things are going to happen, good things and some hard things. And can you just use this energy and information? That's it. It's not bad or good. So as we start the week on Monday, December 13th, we now have Mars moving into Sagittarius. So the energy is going to shift, right? Mars is our vitality, our energy, our motivation, our desires. And it's moving out of deep, passionate, little moody Scorpio into Sagittarius. Sagittarius is bright and sunshiny. It's always optimistic, looking into the wild blue yonder. It's the archer, shooting his arrow out into the horizon, trying to, follow his or her wanderlust, right? And so Mars in Sagittarius is very exciting. It's very fun energy. It's about connection and ideas and inspiration, optimism. And so this is a lovely light energy. So on the positive side, it's going to lighten up our energy. It's going to really fire us up in terms of moving to get our goals and things accomplished and feeling more optimistic for the Christmas season. And Mars also is kind of, motivation and desires for the collective. And whenever we move into sort of a fire sign, so right now we are in the sign of Sagittarius, the sun is in Sagittarius, that fire can also help the spread of viruses. And we all know that we are in a pandemic. So this can be a time that we are going to see more of that on the news. And I know you're like, it's never left the news, but it's more, the spread is going to be more prevalent. And, in previous weeks, we've been talking about this new variant and things like that. So this is just a real great time to take those precautions if you are going to be going out and seeing family, or maybe there are some indications coming up. There's going to be more restrictions coming closer to Christmas as well, according to the astrology. We'll see how that goes, but really taking that precaution. So on the positive side, it's hope and optimism and good luck and connection. It can be our actions, our actions are motivated by our ideals, and we want to, really be free to enjoy ourselves. So we don't really like routine. Staying on task a little hard with this Sagittarius energy. And it's also, we can feel a little bit restless, and, we're just not really wanting to conform. We just want to kind of have our own space to do things. So good and bad with this energy. Hopefully you're starting holidays soon and you don't have to worry about work too much. Excuse me. And then Mercury is moving into Capricorn. Now, Mercury is the sign of it rules our thinking, our thought processes, our communication styles, and the way we sort of connect with, our closest people, our siblings, the people closest to us in our life. And so that connection, that communication, that thought process is now moving into this Capricorn energy. Capricorn is cardinal earth. And so earth is grounding. It's practical. It likes to get things done. It likes structures. It's going to last the test of time. And cardinal energy is things that start, right? This is winter starting. So when the sun moves into Capricorn, this is winter is starting, right? It is the start of winter, and we call that winter solstice. So in this is not winter solstice. This is Mercury planet of our mind moving into Capricorn. So we become much more serious. We're more practical, more grounded. And we just came out of this Sagittarius energy. Yay, everything's great, right? And this is foretelling about Venus going retrograde in Capricorn. So this is kind of getting us serious and practical about the nature of life and what are we supposed to be doing now. And although we have all this motivation and desire and optimism to get things done, we now have this wonderful mind that's in alignment with like, let's get things on our list checked off. Let's start to get practical here and serious about what life is really handing us. So this is actually, I feel like, a blessing at this time. Thinking becomes more methodical, you're focused, practical, communication is more orderly, we're more focused on organization and kind of having our schedules and meeting the demands of the day, if you will. Now the everything has its positive and everything has its challenge. And with this, the challenge is to become too rigid with your thinking. This is the only way things can be. We don't want that. And it's also about, not, overthinking things or being too, what's the word I'm looking for? Strong opinions and judgments. That's the word. Too strong with your opinions and with your judgments, because Capricorn is about authority and power. And if we can think that we know everything and we're the authoritarian, or we're, F the power, then we start to lose focus for the optimism. So you can see how Mars is kind of trying to temper this, but we're going to have, Venus in Capricorn too. Well, Venus is in Capricorn right now. So that is about becoming very practical and organized with the things that you love and value, right? And where this is going to be a huge theme for the end of this year. So we're sort of starting to see those kind of little nuggets of the breadcrumbs, as I like to call it, along the way. So as we come into Wednesday, this is a day where we might be feeling really creative, very intuitive. You can get a lot of downloads. There's some moon aspects this day that are kind of getting us to feel very intuitive. But this is a really interesting day. The Mars is going to be conjunct our South Node. South Node is the karmic or collective karmic past of society, right? Where are we moving away from? What are we learning and releasing and moving into our future? And Mars sitting on this point in Sagittarius can make us feel a little bit turned up, a little bit fiery about this, especially because the next day, the moon is going to be coming to sit next to Mars, activating this point yet again. So it can feel like hot tempers. It can feel like, because this is all in about energy. It could be about the law. We could start to see some things come up about the law, some challenges to the law. I'm so curious because I think this is also going to bring up, there's a lot of constitutional challenges across Canada, wherever you're watching in the world, but here specifically in Canada, to some of the COVID rules and laws that have been put in place, especially in the workplaces across Canada. So it'll be really interesting to see how that comes to light and see if maybe we'll know definitively whether they can legally do this or not, make people get the vaccine or not. So this will be very interesting to see that. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm neutral on that, especially in these videos, because the astrology is neutral. The astrology is neutral. So we're just talking about these subjects as they pertain to the astrology. But I do feel like some law things are going to come to light here where we're going to start to see collectively in our past. This also, as I'm talking about it, what comes to mind intuitively as well is all the information with residential schools and everything that's been happening here in Canada. There's been restitution requested and they want the Pope to come here and, apologize because all these Catholic schools, the residential schools were run by, the Catholic Church. So there's, talk about restitution and things like that. So that's the law, that's the past, right? And learning that information coming up to light now. So think about it in your life. What have you learned that you now want to release, right? What is that Sagittarius about? Philosophy, culture, knowledge, education, maybe something that you learned in the past that is now no longer relevant and you're ready to release that and move forward with something new that's going to replace it, right? One of the things, and it's coming to mind now, so I'm going to bring it up. You can't out manifest your trauma. You just can't. Right? You can't override it. You can't try to make it happy. You can't override it. You can't out meditate it. You can't out crystal it. You have to deal with your trauma. And so if there's something holding you back, it's because it's keeping you safe. And there's a younger part of you that's trying to keep you safe. And can we bring love to that part of us and say it's okay, and bring that part with us, because all of you is loved. All of you deserves to be here. When we start to shame and hate parts of ourselves, that's a big, big flag that you have a trauma, and there's a younger part of you that's trying to keep you safe, and you'll never be able to override that young part. Maybe for a short time, but it will come back. So that's part of this South Node and Neptune going direct, which I've said in previous weeks. So Thursday, short-tempered, and actually Friday night, I have a full moon workshop for the full moon in Gemini on Saturday. So if you'd like to come to that workshop, please do so. The link will be in my bio, or you can find it on my website, or message me and I'll get you that link. It's $27 to come, and it's got a manifestation activity in there, a handout. We do a meditation. I tell you the astrology for the collective and the astrology for your sign and how it kind of pertains to you too. So if you'd like to join me, I would love to have you there. And it's recorded, it's live on Zoom, and I send out the replay afterwards, so you get it forever with the handout. So the full moon, that sets up the stage for the full moon on Saturday in Gemini, which is about information and communication. So funny how it all kind of links together. And the full moon in Gemini happens at 9:36 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Saturday the 18th, and it's at 27 degrees of Gemini. So this is a bit of a confusing time, right? We've got the sun in Sagittarius, which is higher education, the law, cross-cultural connections, long distance travel. That's kind of that higher information, taking information and elevating it, becoming kind of a specialist in one field. And it's opposite the moon that's in Gemini. So that's why it's the full moon, right? And they're at the exact same degree, but just in opposite sides of the zodiac. And full moons are culmination points. Something new is coming to light. We are understanding something at a different level now, or maybe secrets are coming to bear. We're starting to really understand the situation. And Gemini is about information, communication. It's early childhood. It's our neighborhoods, like our inner neighborhoods, versus, Sagittarius is other countries and travel to other countries. Short distance trips is Gemini as well. So when we think about all of those aspects coming together now, and the opposition of these two, the polarity of this is about information being released, coming to light. What are you releasing? What did you believe that you now need to let go of? And although a wide square, but still a square, Neptune is in here kind of helping things along. And Neptune likes to create confusion. But in this case, it can be channeled information too. Like if you drop into the seat of the soul, what feels right to you? What feels good to you? The soul is love, right? It is pure love. And so when we think about things from the seat of the soul, we're asking ourselves, what would love do? Right? So when you hear information, especially gossip, right? Gossip is just a way to connect from a traumatic place in your heart. It's that I don't have anything really significant to share, so I'm going to share somebody else's information, and we can connect over their sorrow and pain. And it's because I don't have something really significant to share with you that I can connect with you at. So this can be that, because Mercury is coming in here hot and heavy with a trine to Uranus. There's lots of ideas and talk and conversations, but what's happening with some of these squares, Mars square to Jupiter, is like this exuberance. We want to share so much. We take on so many things. We overcommit ourselves, and now you're in trouble. So really be careful to temper some of this exuberance and this optimism, this excitement, and, really finding yourself connecting over things that really are important to you. Neptune in this instance can also encourage you to have boundaries, right? This is about understanding what you can and cannot share. What do you have to share? Do you even have to speak, right? If you feel the need to chit chat, because that used to be me. I used to get really nervous, especially in dates, if I was like set up on a blind date or something, and I just ramble. And what happens when you ramble? Things come out that are TMI, right? That you're like, I would not have shared that normally. But Nervous Chital decided to share that. And that's not, again, it's connection from a traumatic place, right? It's not actually true connection. Vulnerability is when you're vulnerable and you feel safe to share, and the other person is reciprocating, right? So, this is going to be a time that maybe it's a little hard to gauge that. And I would just say it's a great time to listen. Then, right? If you're ever nervous or you feel like you're going to do, TMI, or you just have this, Sagittarius Mercury that likes to talk, 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 especially when they're nervous, just listen. Just resolve to listen, be a good listener, and be an active listener. Oh, I hear what you said there. That sounds amazing. How did you feel when that happened? Right. And then may I share something that happened to me? I mean, that doesn't really happen in conversation with friends, right? You're just like, oh my God, the same thing happened to me. And I know exactly how you feel. And the other person's like, no, you don't. You don't actually know. You didn't happen what happened to me. And you're just like, oh, misunderstanding, Neptune. So this is a time to really be aware of body language and talking to each other, how much is being communicated, and really be careful with what you're accepting to be true, because Neptune can be propaganda. It can also be miscommunication, misunderstandings. So checking for your knowledge, checking backgrounds of things, and making sure you do not share somebody else's information, because that's going to come back to hit you in not such a great way. Be careful not to take on too many things. There's lots of optimism. This can be great conversations and kind of connecting spiritually with other people as well. But again, you're talking on topics that you both are mutually accepted on. So just be careful about not overdoing it, really, just not overdoing it. And Sunday, December 13th, I'll go much more into detail on the full moon in Gemini at the workshop if you're interested in coming to that. And then Sunday, December 19th is a very important day. And this is going to be felt even on the full moon as is Venus going retrograde. So technically Venus is called stationary retrograde at the full moon. And what that means is whenever a planet slows down with regards to comparison to the Earth, it's considered retrograde. So at that moment that it slows down, I almost like to kind of compare it to a car. You're driving in a car and there's a car next to you. And if the car next to you slows down, it almost looks like it's going backwards, right? So even if you think about Venus in the sky, if it's now going slower than the Earth, it looks like it's going backwards because we're kind of overtaking it, in the sky, right? So that's sort of an indication, right? We're sort of starting to slow down compared to the Earth on the full moon. And that's really heightening that presence, that energy. And what's kind of adding some excitement to this is Venus sits next to Pluto at this time, and will be next to Pluto for quite a bit of time because she's going retrograde. Venus is going retrograde. So, and Pluto's hella slow. So it's going to kind of have this dance where they're going to kind of be around each other for quite some time. And Pluto is death, rebirth, and transformation. He's a heavy planet, right? He's definitely coming in to change some things in this lifetime for us. And well, in every lifetime, because Pluto is going to be around for a long time, but we aren't in relation to Pluto. So it's almost a 250-year cycle for Pluto to come back to its original position. So it's past our lifetime. And with Pluto sitting next to Venus, this is now a time when we're going to be amplifying the energy of this retrograde. So what is this retrograde that starts on Sunday? But technically, we're already going to be feeling it this whole week because of this Pluto sitting next to it. Now, when Venus represents our values, what we love and value, money, beauty, aesthetic, it's also like currency, banking, and it's the things that we value, right? And relationships as well, love. And so when we think about Venus, right, she rules love, she rules all the things that she's considered a benefic in astrology. That means a beneficial planet. And that Venus energy, when it's retrograde, it's now, what do we value? Are our relationships really feeding us? Are we doing good things with our money? Where is our money story doing us a disservice? Because it's a story, right? And money is energy. And when we have a story, a value, a belief around it, trauma, we are blocking it from coming into our life, right? Rich people, rich people are stinky. I mean, that's not real, but you know what I mean? People who are rich are bad. They're unscrupulous. They have bad morals, right? And so of course you can't have money if you think that people who have money have bad morals because you have good morals. So you just excluded yourself. Like that's how trauma kind of works, right? So when you think about your early childhood, excuse me, and when your parents, what was your relationship with money? What were your parents' relationship with money? What did they do with money? How did they talk about it? What are your earliest experiences with money? You start to now understand what this Venus retrograde is trying to do for you. So this is going to be very interesting. So here's some dates for you to understand. This is Venus is going to be retrograde for till March 1st. This is a long time for Venus to be in Capricorn. A long time. It's not normally in retrograde. Sorry, out of shadow until March 1st. It's going to go direct to January 29th. So it's 40 days and 40 nights that Venus is retrograde. And that's not a long time. I mean, it is a long time. Venus isn't normally in a sign that long. But because of that retrograde, she's not going to be out of this shadow until March 1st. So this is not a time right now, especially to January 1st, and I'd say even a little bit after, to get into big investments. Not a good idea. Not a good idea to make big decisions with regards to your money, with regards to your aesthetic. Not a good time to get a tattoo, to cut your hair and do something drastic with it, because you're gonna wanna. And I'm going to say, don't do it, because what happens after January 29th, you're going to go, what the hell did I do? Right? Same thing with getting back with that ex, right? Relationships are going to come out of the grave. All those skeletons are going to rise from the dead, and you're going to see an ex is going to call you, or you're going to get the wanting to booty call maybe. And I'm going to tell you, don't do it, because as of January 29th, you're going to be like, what the hell did I do? It's almost like waking up from a dream. So that is what Venus does. It tests you. Did you learn the lesson, right? What's here that really is valuable for you to learn? Reevaluate your decisions, reevaluate what is it that you are doing. And if you're having struggles with money, if you know your chart, you can look at where Venus in Capricorn is going to be. And this is happening at the 26th degree of Capricorn. She's going to go back to the 11th degree of Capricorn. So if you have your chart, you can see that part of your chart is going to be highlighted, and she's going to be bringing up what are your values and beliefs in that area. And really it's about values. Beliefs is Mercury, but values, and that what is it that you're valuing in that area. So for me, it's going through my money house. Yay me. I have actually a N degree Scorpio rising, and so that is, hello, banking. I just incorporated my company. There's taxes. All the things are coming up for me. And I was like, great. And it's great because I know that's what it's coming in to do. She's coming in to shore up my foundations, so I have strong foundations in my money house as I move forward. So she's bestowing these gifts to me if I can use this energy to my highest and best. And that's what astrology is, right? The more you look and understand how it's playing out in your chart, how it's playing out in your life. And if you don't know astrology and you don't have your chart, you can obviously book in with me. But what I really encourage you to do is just kind of feel into how is it happening for you? Where in your life are you being tested on your values? Is it around money? Is it around beauty, aesthetic, your own beauty? What about relationships? What relationships in your life are you holding on to that are really serving you not at all? And you're just doing it because you have to, right? That's this beauty of this Venus retrograde. It's going to bring that all up to the surface. And if you're like, no, I got to continue this facade, there's a Buddhist saying that says attachment is the root of all suffering. What are you attaching to? What will people think of me? No one's living your life. No one is thinking about you, right? Really, no one is thinking about you. You're thinking about you. When you start to live your life in judgment of what will people think, then you are living your life for everyone else. And when you die, you're going to be like, thank God I did what everyone else did and wanted, and I didn't do anything I wanted. No, said no one ever, right? So this is your chance to avoid that and to live your life now for you. Venus is bringing gifts. Can you see them? Can you see them? So, and I didn't say it's going to be easy. I mean, hey, we're in the human experience together, right? No one ascends. That's not a thing. You are still having the human experience. You only ascend when you die. So, you know what, you're in it. So really, it's a good time to question what you value, what things really hold value in your heart. This is not a time to take risks, especially with value, with money, with investments. Not a good time to buy a house. Definitely not time to buy into a big investment of some kind, because what will happen is, as of January 29th, you will feel that you bought a lemon or that you'll find something kind of that you didn't see before come to light, because that's what Venus does. She's going to bring some things to light for you. This is time now to go in. There's not a time to make big moves in your life. This is a time to sort of reevaluate, review, reassess. What is it that you value? Where is your relationship with money, with beauty, with intimacy, and finances? Now, this is really interesting. One of the great astrologers of our time, Ray Merriman, who is a financial astrologer, he actually said that there's a big correlation when Venus goes retrograde with central banking policies and stock market shifts as well. So this is not a time to make risky changes in your portfolio, or maybe if you want to take money out, maybe it's not a bad thing, but there's definitely going to be changes to the currency. You know, maybe we'll see something new with Bitcoin or crypto. I'm not seeing crypto here. That's more associated with Aquarius. But really, this is more about value. So I hope this helps you. This is going to be a very good learning experience. And really about like, what's our comfort and pleasure? And, you know, maybe it's going to become harder to find. And this is going into Christmas, you know, and you're just like, oh, great, right? This is not a great time to go overboard and spend a bunch of money and then you get your bills later. And isn't that Venus retrograde conjunct Pluto, right? You get the bill later and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to pay this? So really being conservative this year for your spending, if you haven't already been, and just noticing what are your values and where can we start to shift some things that are more in alignment with what you truly value at this time in your life. And you know, one of the things I also noticed with a lot of my clients is they had values, like, you know, the values I had in my 20s are not the values I have in my 40s, like definitely not. And so do you ever kind of stop to think, what is it that I truly value at this time in my life, right? And some of the things that you used to value, it's okay to say, thank you, 20-year-old me, you can have those values. And now we've evolved into having these values instead, right? So, you know, going out to the bar every night, not my value anymore. It used to be. And if it's your value now, hey, power to you. But at this point in time, my value is very, very different. And I have a family and I have different responsibilities now. So, and that is the way life is meant to go, right? And maybe one day I might go back to doing the bar thing. I don't know. I can't see it, to be honest, because hangovers are terrible. But really, it's about, what do you value? And let's not compare that to anyone else's, because you are on your own journey. All right. So wishing you so much joy as you navigate these wonderful aspects. Next week is Christmas, and there is a lot of astrology next week as well. So I'm excited to share that with you. And you get to make this what you want. You get to use this energy for your highest and best too. So this is about, you have agency. Let's use it. Use it. And if you want to learn more how to do that, come out and to my workshop, my full moon workshop on the Gemini moon, and I will help you to manifest using this moon to really get your best for yourself. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Bye.